Jack, I don't know whether it's your camera or us, but
It's a strange delay. I don't know what's happening
yeah,
here. It's probably an internet connection, I'm guessing.
yeah. Well, it'll clear up
Or not.
or not. So did you guys read about this arson in France? Somebody cut four of the rail lines.
I saw the headline. I didn't read the article.
Well, whoever did it or whatever group did it was very smart with the way they did it because they cut it in places where it wouldn't just cut one line, it would cut multiple lines. So they cut it at switches and things. They set it on fire. I think that's uh, I think that's pretty nasty. Ruin the Olympics. These are the trains coming in and out of Paris.
Yeah.
I like that we're all in black today.
Ninja.
Ninja. And the other side. Lee circles.
I'm amazed at how much difference these wrist weights make, honey.
And reverse. So Annie just said something about the wrist weights she's wearing. Why don't you
Yeah.
show Jack what you?
Yeah.
I've got a
I
set.
have
here.
them. I have a
Yeah.
pair of them.
Oh yeah, you've got a set of them already.
Should we all wear them now?
I'm just experimenting with it.
And we're in red and black.
It makes a big difference.
Anarchist colors.
Well, it's interesting because on one hand, it's making a big difference in just the local, but the more I work with it, and it's starting to show up
internally
in the core.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does it show up for you? How
Just activating
the connection.
Yeah, activating like
makes
okay,
sense.
boom. Instead of it just being in the arm and through the chest up here, when I hold it out, I'm actually activating it.
Because you have to tense
boom.
this slightly to hold that additional weight.
It's a pound here and 5 pounds here.
Yeah, that's right. You're right. It is 5 pounds when it's out there. But what's interesting to me is like, so for instance, the last time I weighed myself, I was 245 pounds. This is just 1 pound.
Yeah.
And yet it makes a big difference in your perception of your body.
Yeah. It informs you.
I mean,
in a different way.
This is about 0.3% of my own weight, and yet that little tiny change
changes your perception.
Changes my perception.
Yes.
Okay, shoe circles. And reverse. And pink circles.
Oh, that's very different.
reverse. And reverse. And reverse. And good. Okay, you can put away your sticks, but leave your wrist weights on. So during the break, Annie and I were talking about lowering your chi. And the gist of it is this. You don't actually lower your chi. Your chi lowers itself. So what you do is you just get out of the way, all right? And you just let your chi drop naturally. And you can really feel that with these wrist weights if you start up at your shoulders, all right? And you just relax and let that weight pull your arms down, all right? And then you can feel that weight. It's continuously pulling your chi down into the ground, all right? And then to balance that, your spirit goes up to the top of the head. So there are two flows going on. One flow is going up from the feet to the top of the head. The other flow is going down through the body into the ground. The one going down feels heavy. The one coming up feels light. And they both run continuously. They just keep going. So our discussion began when Annie said that she could feel her chi most strongly coming up in her body from her feet to the top of the head. And I think that's a pretty natural way that people feel, because you're in connection with the ground, so that gives you a kind of consciousness, even if it's half subconscious. There's a kind of consciousness, and you're coming up from the ground when you move, when you walk, when you do anything like that. But the more you look into this, the more you realize you end up at the place where there's two things going on. Heavy water is dropping down and the light fire is coming up. So, okay, so go ahead and take your wrist weights off. And now, and notice how you feel when you take the weight off.
Buoyant.
Well, why? You don't have that weight pulling you down, so now the opposite coming up becomes more strong in contrast. It should equal out in a moment or two, but you feel like, oh, I'm right. That's because that force is not as strong, and this force that was counteracting it is still strong. So you have that really buoyant feeling. When you do push hands, and I'm going to do some push hands with Annie because she just loves it so much. When you do push hands with someone, one of the things that you should pay attention to is their system. You can feel in someone else, are they like really super heavy? Are they really super light? Are they kind of, is everything just sort of congealed in the middle, which is what it is for most people? And you can feel that, you can perceive that. When you touch someone like Master Zhang, you don't feel anything. And this sounds very strange, but this is an actual thing. It's called disappearing. When you touch someone like Master Zhang or Master Feng, you can't find them. You can't feel their energy. They've hidden it. They have, quote unquote, disappeared.
Cloaked it.
That, in a sense, it's like they've got a cloaking device, a Klingon cloaking device. Was it the Klingons or the?
I don't know.
One of them, right?
At
Lisa, right? So when you tie up with someone, right? What you should be feeling is their energy, right? So to me, Annie feels like she's leaning over backwards and she's very light, all right? So if I was coaching her, I would say, relax, drop your chi down the bottom of your feet. This isn't something you need your eyes to feel, all right? Imagine you still got those weights on your wrists. Yes. All right? Now, drop the weight of your chi to the bottom of my feet. Drop it into my body. Yet much more, now she's much more present when she does that. Now I feel like there's somebody there. Now she could actually engage. All right, so You drop your chi. When you drop your chi to the bottom of my feet, you're also dropping your consciousness down there. Now, I want you to move me from here, but what you're actually moving is you're hinging my body from the bottom of my feet. So you're moving my body in relation to the bottom of my feet and just hinging me backwards. So she's pushing me in the chest, but you shouldn't think about the chest. You should think about, in this case, the bottom of my feet. All right? And just boom. In other words, it's a little bit like being a masseuse, where you, a really good masseuse, and I know it's only 1 out of 100, but can literally send their chi to different parts of your body. It's exactly the same thing in push hands. All right? So that's the beginning of push hands training, is just to become aware that you can be aware of these things. All right? It's not, in a way, it's kind of esoteric. In another way, it's the simplest thing in the world. We do it all the time. We just don't know that we do it. Make sense, Jack?
Yeah, when I was pushing with Michael last Sunday,
Yeah.
and we started, we he said, let's go really slowly. And it was just to to read it.
Right.
And so you don't make any move until the other person moves, but you still give them, you give them a little bit of pung, but it was it got highly sensitized is what I
Yeah.
found. But because sometimes when you're moving too fast, you're distracted by the movement.
Yes,
So
exactly.
it was really amazing. It was just a little thing here and there, and we were joint locking at the same time, but very slowly.
Right.
So the idea was to try and follow and then, neutralize. So
When you at the beginning, when you move quickly, it's like noise.
Yeah.
It's like static in the system because you're not at the beginning. You're not sensitive enough to be able to track a fast movement. So you practice slowly, and you practice week after week and month after month, just getting used to this slow thing. Your push hands partner is a partner, not an opponent. So it's actually very similar to dance training, where you're learning to be able to read the energy in someone else's body and to signal to them and have them signal to you. Um, and then as you get more and more comfortable with it, now you can start to, things can move a little more quickly because you can pick up on those things. And speed is no longer just a distraction. Annie reminded me during the break of what Master Zhang used to say when he would do push hands. Or he would say, I'm sorry, I just have to laugh because I'm remembering him. Um, you know move, I know move. You move, I move faster. All right? And of course, he would say that at first because you couldn't figure out what he meant. What do you mean you move faster? How do you move faster than someone who's already moving? Because you have to have time to react to him, so you must be slower. But what he's saying is, you move, I'm going to move faster than you. How? It's because of the sensitivity that you develop over time. So, in a sense, if Annie and I were pushing, in a sense, I'm going to pick up on her movement, her decision to move, that is to push. Really, almost before she even makes it consciously. And because you've done all this training, you're able to respond to that so quickly it's going to seem like you do it before she does it. All right. And in a sense, it's actually true. You are doing it before she does it.
Have you seen when you're driving, you know when someone's going to change lanes before they know? They
Yeah.
have signaled there's something that
Yeah.
sometimes you see them in the mirror that they don't even know it. So that's like the ultimate in defensive driving. This
I
person's going to
would,
cut off. I know they are.
you guys have probably all had experiences like the one I'm about to tell you. I was driving down, what's the street just to the south of Golden Gate Park, the big street? Fulton?
Fulton
Fulton.
on the left side.
So
Oh,
I had
the
left
south is Lincoln.
Lincoln?
Lincoln.
Okay, well, whatever it
Fulton's
is,
the north,
I was
Lincoln's the
on
south.
that. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's a big divided street. You know,
Yeah.
it's a 4-lane street divided. I had left the practice area and I was driving west toward the ocean on there, and then was going to cut over to our house. And I was driving too fast. It was a Sunday morning. It was very quiet. There was no traffic, and I don't know. I don't know what the speed limit is there, but let's say 35. I was probably going 45 or even 50, right? And I'm driving along, and all of a sudden, I absolutely knew that a cop had just watched me and would pull up behind me in a second. And a second later, a cop pulled up behind me. I could feel him looking at me.
Right here.
That's just like the birds.
Yeah.
The birds feel us looking at them.
If I start, we've got a big bird feeding station out behind the kitchen area where we eat at a little table there, and if you know you're eating and they're just eating and they pay no attention. If you look up and start watching them, they stop. They stop and they look at you.
Yeah.
We have a lot of hawks in this neighborhood, and the same thing happens. You look up and they go, and they just stare at you.
Yeah, exactly.
Waiting for your next move.
And this would lead you to ask yourself the question, what am I missing? What other
things are all around me that I'm totally missing?
All that information is coming all the time, but I do not perceive it.
I'll tell you one more story. This is one of my favorite stories. So you know the music concourse in Golden Gate Park, Jack?
Yeah,
right?
I'm there every Sunday.
The little trees and
yeah.
So you know you walk down a set of stairs wherever you come in. You walk down a set of stairs because it's a sunken oval there. Well, you know I've been practicing all day and I threw my swords over my shoulders and I was leaving for the day. So it was probably 1 o'clock or something. And I'm walking up those stairs, and as I get to the top of the stairs, there was a burning sensation on the back of my head, like someone had turned a heat lamp on.
A laser.
I turned a heat lamp on. And when I got to the top of the stairs, I stopped and I whipped around, and 100 yards back in the practice area was Master Zhang, and he was just standing and looking at me and smiling. All right?
He zapped you.
He zapped me. Just to see whether I would even notice it.
Yeah.
Right?
And then there are all those people walking along the street who have no idea of all the people around them. They walk in front of them, they stop, they look at their phones.
The truth is, we all are asleep most of the time.
Yeah.
And waking up from moment to moment is an art, right? It's the art of Qigong and Tai Chi. It's just waking up in the moment. Okay.
Let's do some silk reeling for a minute.
What would you like to do?
I don't care. Something.
Let's do shoulders then. Oh, let's do waist. And clockwise circles. And counterclockwise. The shoe circle and a ping circle. Shoe circle, ping circle. Shoe circle, ping circle. When you do this exercise, you should feel like you have a bungee cord and that you're holding in both hands, right? And you stretch it. So you're stretching here, but you're also stretching down there. And the same thing here, right? Stretch, stretch, stretch. This is also a great exercise for noticing that the yang part of this exercise depends on the yin part. Right? Close, open, close, open, close, open, close, open, close, open. And then if you're, so all of that is at the first road level, which is fine. You can just stay there forever. If you want to add in a little Fa Jin and go second road, then it's like the bungee cord snaps. Snaps. And good. All right, let's stretch out the wrists a little bit. And the other side. And reverse. And the other side. And relax your wrists. And good. And the ankles. And the other side. And rotate. You hear my ankle crack.
Mm-hmm.
And reverse. And the other side. And reverse. And close. And open. And close. And open. And close. And open. And close. And open. Doling. And touch the earth. And close your pores. Salute our masters. And salute your classmates. Thank you, everyone. I hope all of you have a good day today.
Jack, I wanted to highly recommend a book I'm reading. I might have
Oh,
mentioned
yeah?
it before, but it's a book on philosophical Taoism, and it has really captured my imagination. And I feel like it's just has been the book that's been given to me at the absolute right time, and it's by someone named Scott P. Bradley, Bradley, who actually lives up here in Oregon.
Bradley is Annie's
maiden
maiden
name.
name.
And the name of the book is All Is Well in This Great Mess.
All is well in the great mess.
In the great mess. Anyway, I've been, Malcolm had for years been talking about Shuangzi and actually had tried to teach us. We did a seminar a few times on it, and I never could capture it. But this book has allowed me, it has given me the key to the door into that space, and it's been really, really helpful for my anxiety, for my
in these fabulous times.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
I'll send the link to that. It's just a little book, but
it's just a little book, but
it's totally non-academic.
No, it's for lay people like me who, but it's the kind of book that you will reread that paragraph 3 or 4 times, make notes in the margin, which I never do. So it's been really impactful, as they say. So I recommend it.
He's an old hippie, so he's got the right attitude. He's got the right attitude for
Sailed around
Swanson.
the world a few times.
Oh yeah.
Sailboat, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway.
All right, buddy.
See you tomorrow.
See you next time.
See you tomorrow. Ciao.
Bye bye.